Indigenous people in Canada have a notoriously tragic past. From mass genocide to the 60s scoop, these are people that have been stripped of their identity and left with emotional scars that have created a vicious cycle of various kinds of abuse. The residential school system, which began in the 1880s, is largely to blame for the loss of identity of the Indigenous people. Children were forcibly taken from their homes and placed into boarding schools where they were taught to assimilate into Euro-Canadian society. While living in these boarding schools, children were not allowed to see their families, leaving them without that nurturing experience. Instead, they were often met with physical, emotional, sexual, and psychological abuse. And without the knowledge to raise their own families, such abuse was passed through generations, creating another vicious cycle. Many children attempted to escape residential schools. Unfortunately, many of them died on their journey home. Those who survived the schools often developed substance abuse problems as a way to forget their trauma. Their children grew up seeing this way of living, and another vicious cycle was created. Some reserves have attempted to fix the alcohol abuse problem by banning the sale of alcohol, but that has proven futile, as people will travel to buy alcohol and bring it back to the reserve. Many reserves are now offering mental health services, which is helping to some degree. However, the Indigenous people are committing suicide at an alarming rate, and many people are trying desperately to find a solution. The people of Bella Bella, BC have come the closest anybody else has to finding a solution that may have very long-lasting results. Many years ago, the people of Bella Bella reached out to Larry Jorgensen, a health bureaucrat from Ontario. One of the first programs was taking the kids on a boat and discovering their land. Larry didn't believe in the concept of sitting with one person at a time for 1 hour a week. He believed a hands-on approach was more effective. As this approach began to see improvements in the youth, the town's council asked him to do more. With Larry's help, the town built several cabins and used them for their camps and other programs. The people are also learning more about their culture, as they now have mandatory classes in school about culture and language. The children learn how to track animals and fish for salmon, as well as geotagging the salmon. The people also used their land as rehabilitation for people that were supposed to be sent to jail. Rather than get locked in a cell, they were sent to live in a cabin in the forest, fending for themselves. Many people changed their life around after the experience. There are various camps that were created over the years. Camps that focus on culture, such as medicine gathering, cultural strength, and activities like burning food and blankets for loved ones who have passed away. Also cedar bark weaving, Celtic language, and traditional and medicine harvests. There are also camps that focus on biodiversity, as the youth learn about the ecological richness of the Quay River watershed. The youth also learn about salmon as a keystone species in Quay. Campers enjoy a salmon feast as they learn about the important role of salmon in the ecosystem. There are even camps for kids struggling with addiction problems, and a camp to bring struggling families together. These camps are 30 years in the making. What started as a few tents and 4 campers a week has blossomed into several cabins and at least 30 campers a week. These programs haven't fixed all of the problems for the people of Bella Bella, but they helped the community go from 12 suicides a year to 0 suicides. And as each generation lives with less substance abuse and violence and learns more about culture and their traditional way of living, they may one day, in the future, have a generation that does not wear the scars of the past. Hopefully, the rest of Canada can have such a future as well. For it is the earth that gives us life, and it should be the earth that we turn to help us live.